Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now this is a continuation on my series where I show the 10 worst songs or my least favourite songs from my 10 favourite artists. And it's a very difficult thing to do because whenever I play these songs I have an idea which are the worst ones, and I make a playlist and I play them and I enjoy them and then I feel guilty for putting them in the list. But today it's going to be SLADE, a fantastic glam rock band who looked dead and buried by the late 70s. But a chance performance at Reading Festival in 1980, when Ozzy Osbourne pulled out, their fortunes changed and they became successful again in the early 80s to mid 80s, and then they more or less disbanded in 1991 after their last two singles, Radio Wall of Sound and Universe. Now SLADE 2 were then formed without Noddy and Jim, but I didn't bother with them at all because Noddy and Jim were the two main songwriters, although Dave Hill did write some stuff, as did Don Powell. Before I start, I'm going to have to say that there's no cover versions allowed in this, so if you're expecting Okie Kokie or Let's Dance, forget about it, you're not getting them. Or Do They Know It's Christmas? These have to have been written by either one of the band members at least, so there has to be a Noddy Holder, Jim Lee, Dave Hill or Don Powell credit. Okay, starting off at number 10, and a single I used to like but I've gone off it, and it is You Boys Make Big Noise, and this is the title track from their last LP in 1987. However, the song itself wasn't put on the vinyl at all. It's now a bonus track on CDs, and it may have been on the cassette. The reason I don't like this is, well, it's not that I don't like it. I do like it, but the reason why it's on this list is that because it's just a rip-off of the Beastie Boys' Fight for Your Right to Party. It's got that sort of Beastie Boys rap to it, and if you just close your eyes you would have thought it was the Beastie Boys. But still, it's good fun, but SLADE could have done so much better, and it gets my number 10. At number 9, and it's an LP track from 1983 from the amazing Kamikaze Syndrome album, and it's Razzle, Dazzle Man, the very last song. Now this is actually quite a heavy song, and it's good to see the heaviness because around this time from about 1980 to 83 they were quite a heavy band, but SLADE were a melodic band and this is just a mess. The only thing that saves this song is the very end when it goes into an acoustic session, and it sounds actually very good, but 1 minute at the end doesn't save the whole song, and I just don't think there's any structure to the song at all. It's just hard hitting, but not for me. So Razzle Dazzle Man is a disappointing end to this album, which I always thought was their worst album, but I'm starting to really like it now. But this one still hasn't grown on me, so that's number 9. At number 8, and we have a B-side from the That's What Friends Are For single, which was on the You Boys Make Big Noise album. And it's the track Wild Wild Party, and now this didn't get on the album, quite rightly so, because it's not very good. It was produced by Jim Lee. It's a rocker. It doesn't have any of the synths that the rest of the album has, but I think it's actually lacking something, and it's just a bog standard rocker. It's not very good. It's the subject matter is just a wild wild party. It's supposed to be good fun, but it does nothing for me. That's my number 8. Okay, at number 7, and this one might be a surprise, and we're going back to 1976 for the Nobody's Fools album, and it's the second track on the album, Do the Dirty. Now this sort of harkens back to very early SLADE around the time of Play It Loud, because it's a very very gritty song, and I just think it's very clunky and it's not very good at all. The chorus is not bad, it's pretty good, but the overall song is not fantastic, and I think it's over 4 minutes and it just takes up too much time. The rest of this album is pretty good, but Do the Dirty for me I just think is weak, and it gets my number 7. At number 6, and we go to their next album, which was Whatever Happened to SLADE in 1977, and this album is heavy as hell. And the song I'm actually picking is The Soul, The Roll and The Motion, the last track on side 2. And to me, this just reminds me of just a little bit the track from Old Newborn Blue. It's a very, very basic rock and roll riff, and it sounds just like that song, just a little bit. And I've never been a keen fan on it, but this, it has a Holder Lee credit, but it just does nothing for me. Very, very good album, but again, the last song on this is not great, and it gets my number 6. At number 5, and we have another B-side, and it's the B-side of Ruby Red, a fantastic single from 1982. It featured on their Till Death Do Us Part album, and it's funk, punk and junk, and it didn't get on any album. And again, there is a good reason, because it's not very good. It is quite a funky number, and it goes along quite nicely until you get the chorus, which is the most basic chorus you'll ever hear, and it destroys the song. It's just not great at all. You do get it on bonus tracks now of the Till Death album, but still, excellent A-side, by the way. Ruby Red's absolutely fantastic, but funk, punk and junk, no, not great. That's my number 5. At number 4, and we have the B-side of their last single, Universe, and the B-side is called Red Hot. Now this is a Dave Hill credit, and I think this was actually going to be part of a Dave Hill album. It was written by Dave Hill and Bill Hunt, who used to be in Wizard. And in fact, the last 2 singles, I think, were all songs which were set for solo releases, because the Universe itself, the Jim Lee song, was going to be on a solo album, and it eventually did get on his Therapy solo album. And Radio Wall of Sound, which Jim sings, I think was for a solo album. And the other B-side of Radio Wall of Sound is Lay Your Love on the Line, which nearly made this list as a Dave Hill song, but I thought I would keep it off because it's not that bad. But Red Hot is just not very good, and I believe SLADE 2 actually recorded this, and there's 2 songs on the B-side. They had to put Merry Christmas Everybody on it as well to try and push it. Not a great song, and it gets my number 4. Okay, at number 3, and it's another B-side, and it's the B-side of All Join Hands from 1984, and the track is Here's To, and in some cases I think they say Here's To the New Year. And the reason I'm not keen on this is the verses, the music of the verses is so similar to the Stranglers' Golden Brown, it's unbelievable. And the chorus itself is actually the chorus of Thanks for the Memory, for their single from 1975 or 76, with different lyrics, and it's just very lazy. Whenever you first hear it, you think it's quirky, and you think, oh, that's not bad actually, but after a few listens, you know, what was the point? Golden Brown and Thanks for the Memory. But no, I don't mind a song about the new year, and there's not very many people that actually do it, so I was glad to get that, but it's not great at all. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is another B-side, and we're going way back to the B-side of Get Down and Get With It, and it's a Dave Hill Noddy Holder composition, and it's Do You Want Me. And there's 2 B-sides on this. The other one is Gospel According to Rasputin, another Dave Hill Noddy Holder song, but it's slightly better. Do You Want Me is a dirge. It's really, really slow. It's funeral paced. It's very bluesy. It doesn't pick up at all. Even in the chorus it doesn't pick up, and it's over 4 minutes long, and it's not great. Now in Europe, whenever they released this single, I think they released it only with the Gospel According to Rasputin as the B-side, so it didn't even get on those pressings. It's not good, and it's my number 2. Which I am going to give the worst SLADE song to this one. And it's actually a decent enough tune, but it's Give Us a Goal from 1978, and the reason why I don't like it, it's a flippin' football song, and that's all it is, about hitting the ball in the net and all the rest. Give us a goal. I'm a big football fan, or soccer fan if you're in the States, but this here is just really scraping the barrel and trying to get a hit. And even the video of it is singing in front of about 50 people in a football stadium, and it's rubbish. But the music itself is not bad, it's just the whole subject matter elevates this to the worst ever, and it failed to chart, quite rightly so. But for some reason it actually got on the SLADE Smashes album from 1980. Don't know how it did, but it did. So the worst SLADE song for me is Give Us a Go. Okay, so that's the rundown of my 10 least favourite or worst SLADE songs. A fantastic band, a really fantastic band, and some of those songs aren't that bad. And maybe if I was to do this video in a month or so, the whole list would change, apart from the top 4 or 5. Okay, that's me for now. All the best out. Bye bye.